You set your goal at the start of the year is to win the league, and I remember the previous year when you see other captains, lifting the trophy, I just sit there and say, well, that has to be us next year.
Every day felt like a trial, didn't it, sometimes?
Yeah.
The amount of players we used to get in the summer spell, like the players that would come back from England, you get players coming back from.
Yeah, Brian Murphy came and trained with us as well. He was over at Man City at the time.
That's what I was actually going to say, Man City, because we've got a couple of players from Man City.
It's so many players, you say good players.
They always seem to be midfielders. It's like literally every day you have a new midfielder on trial, and you think, geez, you're trying to tell me something here, Pat.
But as I say, the training session, when I went into the match in the training session, was not always bad.
Yeah.
The referee got the worst of it. With Eamon Collins, he got hammered more than anything because of the fact that everyone wanted to win the games, and there was no 6-0 games. It was always tight or 0-0 or 1-1 or no one wanted to give up anything. I think you'd be going into the match now on a Friday all bruised and battered after the training session.
Glenn Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, game on. Fuck's sake, game on.
But definitely a lot of great memories here. Some poor memories as well, obviously. But
remember this?
I remember Ollie Byrne coming in here as well and having a pop on stage and coming in and congratulating us again as well on other things. And he's Ollie was brilliant. He was great for the club, and if you think of the players that came, and Ollie was producing the good set to say to Pat, look, go and get the players in, and you're looking at the quality that came in through the door week in, week out, year in, year out. It shows you what his dream was.
When we did win the league, myself and Kevin Hunt, actually, he was captain of Bowes and he had 2 league titles and I had 2 league titles, and we were both going for the league, and we done an interview that year, and I said I remember it well that we're both wanting that 3rd league trophy, and I look back and I remember playing with Paul Doolan, who had 6 league trophies at the time, and it's something that you were always trying to get to, but when you have 2, you're so far off it. But thankfully, we won it that year and managed to get into the qualifiers of the European game the following year. And you're always looking forward to the draw. And when it comes out and you have Reykjavik away, you think, well, we might have a chance against them.
The Reykjavik game was the changing point. Just the second half in particular over there. We. That could have, we could have lost that game. We would have been out of it, and there would never have been any run. But coming back from 2-0 down when we were away, in the way we did it, I think that was the changing point mentally for us in that run. And all of a sudden, they kind of gave us this confidence, and they kind of gave us this belief that maybe we could actually do something, because we'd brought in a couple of players that season. Not least Alan Moore, who came back from the Premiership, and I think that was intent from Pat, that he wanted to inject some real quality into the squad, to kind of deal with the European games better. We needed needed that little injection of quality going into the European games. The domestic stuff, I think we were strong. But for the European stuff, we just needed sort of that added little bit of quality. He was that, and it worked because he was basically responsible for 3 or 4 of the goals that we scored in that run. He was like I say, that little bit of quality, that little bit of creativity that we needed to kind of just to get that edge and to kind of create a goal out of nothing. But once we got the Reykjavik game out of the way, I think there was a huge transition psychologically in where we were, and when we went into the Hajduk game, I think there was a real belief that we could do something, that we were good enough. We were getting more and more confident as we played each and every game.
You're always looking forward to the draw, and when it comes out and you have Reykjavik away, you think, well, we might have a chance against them. I remember going over there, it was absolutely freezing cold. It was bright 24/7. Going over, one of the chemists gave us actually eye things to wear at night time, so that so we can get proper sleeps. There was a video shop over there, and they allowed me to rent out Hear No Evil, See No Evil video at the time, and it was the only thing that kept us sane all week, because of the fact that There's nothing to do in the place, absolutely nothing to do. But in the game itself, freezing cold on the night, 2-0 down at half time, and we're looking for some sort of inspiration from somewhere, and thankfully Alan Moore provided that. We got a goal and they scored an OG, which gave us a bit of momentum coming back into the game here. And I think we were talking about it earlier, saying how nervy of a game it was here in Tolka, especially the last 10-15 minutes when you're 0-0 and you say if you hold out you'll go through. And I've been on the end of results here where you're trying to hold out and you end up losing the game. So thankfully we got through it, and managed to get into the next round. And lo and behold, it was Hajduk we got then.
And Shelbourne are through to the second round of the Champions League qualifying series after they defeated KO Reykjavik of Iceland on the away goals rule. Pat Fenlon's side will now go on to play Croatia's Hajduk Split in the second qualifying round, with the first leg set to be in Croatia this day next week.
When we went into the Hajduk game, I think there was a real belief that we could do something, like that we were good enough. We were getting more and more confident as we played each and every game, and there was belief really starting to come in.
We knew we had quality players, and we knew we had players that can make things happen. Make things happen on the pitch. But it's going out and doing it. If I'm playing and I'm not doing it, then you're hoping that the player that does come on, provides that and does do it. Like, you don't want 2 or 3 players having off days, because you can't make. You make the 2 or 3 subs. That's it. You run the risk of someone getting injured or something else happening. But we did have quality players, and you looked around the dressing room and you're saying, well, Jay Byrne might score today, or Glenn Fitz might score today, or Alan Moore and Joseph Mandel might create something. Wezzo, you knew what you were going to get from Wezzo. Stuey be solid defensively, plus Stuey can pass left foot, right foot, ping a ball 60-70 yards. So we had quality throughout the pitch, and going into those games, you needed it, I think. And especially the Hajduk game, when we were 1-0 up and then 3-1 down. A lot of teams might have folded and dropped their heads, but we kept going, and we managed to get that second goal away from home. And as I said, the row started out at the end of it. A proper digging match, which probably turned it for us and intimidated them a little bit coming over here.
OK, well, hang on, because we've got news of an incredible game tonight in Split, where Hajduk Split have beaten Shelbourne. But it's been a fantastic performance by Shelbourne.
Pat Fennon's Chargers scored 2 all-important away goals as they went down 3-2 to Hajduk Split in the first leg of their second qualifying round tie. So it could be an historic night at Tulka Park next Wednesday for the return leg.
A few minutes into the game, we scored a goal. Glenn Fitz scored one, and I was saying, great start. It was only 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
So the next minute, before we know it, we're 3-1 down, and then we score. John McCarthy right at the death, and 3-2. And a row broke out right at the end of the match, and I mean a proper row. There was digs and everything thrown, and it was like they were rattled over it. Continuing into the tunnel and down, and then there was a lot of bitching going on in the paper from their chairman, I think, at the time, and that we were minnows, we should brush them aside, and I think that riled us up, and basically our team talk was done for us.
Oh yeah, they basically looked at Shells, looked at their past history in Europe, and they kind of looked at the team and said, they're not up that much. Irish sides will flatter to the sea. They might do a little bit. They might do a wee bit, but they're not that well prepared, not that professional, and they'll run out of steam. So they kind of were very, they were overconfident, but it was basically one guy, Lynch, who was very overconfident. The rest of the people involved with involved with Hajduk were not. Like Igor Stimac, he respected the Irish, but they also dreadfully miscalculated. It's something that I know I mentioned to Rap that now I can actually divulge because my NDA has run out. That they had drastically, terribly, let's just say, misjudged where to stay and how to, like, what they were doing as well. So it was actually an absolute disaster from start to finish for them in Ireland. And they had lost before they even came.
They didn't fancy it. They went out in front of Tulka Park. This place was absolutely throbbing. It was full capacity, the whole place. And when Tulka is full, the crowd is, really, they're right in on top of you. I don't even think the spacing between the line and the wall was even that wide. I think it was really, it's really, really tight, and we're so used to that, and they weren't, and they didn't fancy it at all,
I remember, I think at the end of the first half that Jamie Harris had a guy in a headlock and was giving him some digs at the end of the first half. So, the Hajduk team didn't like it. So by the time they came to Dublin, with everything was going on, the fact that they hadn't been paid for a long time, and they weren't even at the races in the second leg, I think it was the ideal time for Shells to pull off. It really was an upset, because looking on paper, Hajduk was 3-4 goals better over both legs.
Roger pops up with a spectacular goal, and then again Alan Moore comes up, trumps with Joe and does it, torn. We're screaming at Joe, all into the corner of the ball, and then next minute he does a pirouette, turns your man inside out, rolls across, and Alan Moore buries it, game over. And, you know,
that's that quality you're talking about, because Joe only came on, like I think Joe had only signed within those few weeks.
Probably,
he only came on that game.
If you look at midfield, you had Stuey, you had Wezzo, you had
Jim
Crawford, Alan Moore. I mean, I don't think there's many that would have got into that team with that midfield. That's for sure. Like, you know, and quality up front, quality on the wings, defensively we were strong. So I think once we got through that, we were all hoping for an easier round. I think an easier draw in the third round, because if you got an easier team, you had a better chance of getting through to the proper group stages of the Champions League, and then you're drawn against Deportivo, and it's great, but you're like, a rather handy one, you know, you don't want to get hammered against. I think they got to the semi-final the year before or something, you know, so we knew we had a big job on our hands.
Return now to our top story and Shelbourne's massive performance this evening at Lansdowne Road against Deportivo La Coruna in the Champions League.
I think we knew at the time that, you know, these are the games. You know, this may be a once-off game. May never get to play in a game with a profile like this ever again. You know,
we were all hoping for an easier round. I think an easier draw in the third round, because if you got an easier team, you had a better chance of getting through to the proper group stages of the Champions League, and then you're drawn against Deportivo, and it's great, but you're like, a rather handy one. You know, you don't want to get hammered against. I think they got to the semi-final the year before or something, you know, so we knew we had a big job on our hands. And
so, there's a funny story about that, because in 03, remember we did pre-season in Manchester. Okay, and we went to the United game. Remember the United Porto game? And we got split up around the pitch. I think Jim Crawford and Derek Pender might have they had a mate that could get tickets to the game. Ollie got the tickets. I got stuck. I got the best seat in the house. I was behind the dugout. And this is the famous game where Mourinho ran down the pitch when they bet United. Like, you know, I was there watching that, like, you know. And then because of that, I remember I kind of kept an eye on Porto in the Champions League. This is 03 now, the year before we played it, and they ended up playing Deportivo in the semi-final. They done them. That was the year Porto won it.
Yeah.
And they bet Deportivo in the semi-final. And people, that was you were just saying, that was the year when Deportivo played Milan in the quarter-final and done them, you know. And then we get pipped against them a year later, and you're kind of going, how have we drawn these? Like, you know, these effectively could have won the competition just the previous months prior. Yeah.
There were questions, Ray, about a David and Goliath type cup tie, but it was obvious that Deportivo gave Shelbourne a lot of respect from the first kick-off.
When you go into a game like that, a lot of things happened in the background, like media suddenly just goes from there to there. You're getting followed around by Sky Sports News. Your training sessions are all of a sudden there's actually supporters coming out to watch you train, and there's all that sort of thing going on. We were training on Lansdowne Road in the 2 or 3 days leading up to it, so there's a lot for you to take in. So because of that, there isn't that much time to kind of really focus or worry, I suppose would be the best way. Worry too much about who you're playing. You really have to kind of knuckle down quite quickly and kind of put a lot of put all your energy into the tactics and the game plan and what it is you have to do to actually beat this team, because they were one of the best teams in Europe at that time.
You would argue whether, you know, there's been a game that caught the attention of people since, I don't know, competitive game, like in a Champions League game, yeah, effectively. When you think about the crowds that were queuing outside on Richmond Road to buy tickets, and then I remember the drive down to Lansdowne from City West Hotel.
Yeah, you know. Crowds everywhere. I think there was a lot of pressure on us, because if you go out and you get hammered in the first game against Deportivo, and then you'll have fans around the country, or not even fans of League One, but people turn around and say, typical Irish football, you know, get hammered in the big stage, you know, it's brutal football and blah blah blah. And I think you're going in, you're saying, right, you want to be, if you're going to get beaten, make sure it's a respectable score, not tanked, and you don't want to be the person that makes the mistake. You don't want to be that one that loses the game for the club and things like that. So a lot of pressure on us going into it, even though there was a lot of pressure on Deportivo because of the money they were earning and things like that.
Yeah. Should have won that game.
Should have won the first game. I think Alan Moore had a great chance, and Byrne, I'll still say it to him today, put a ball in and all he had to do was hit it into the net, and I don't know why he put a skyler over the bar, and you know, little things of that turn a fight, you know, and we came out there with a draw and people weren't expecting that, so again it gave us a bit of momentum going into the second game.
That was for me, you know, that's probably my greatest memory in football was going out to Lansdowne. Like, Lansdowne's gone now, like, you know. I mean, Lansdowne for me
was the home.
Is our home, yeah. Like the old stadium, that's where we went to watch Ireland play as a kid, and you know, wasn't the most prettiest stadium in the world, but it was Lansdowne Road, like, you know, and it's so much history as well, like, you know.
And then even the players in Deportivo, the history that they have in their international teams and World Cup winners and everything walking out, you know.
Yeah, absolute quality, like, you know.
First thing I said to myself as Luke being out in the wing was, every chance I get, I'll try smack him, you know, try slow him down a bit, and I managed to do a couple before I got a yellow card, and then I had to stay on my feet and sort of, you know, be clever in the game. But you looked around and you have Wezzo, who was very good in the game, Stuey, Mark and Valeron, you know, with good defensive display that day against them here as well, you know, 0-0. But Jay Byrne, as I said, I put a ball into Jay and I honestly thought he was going to rattle the back of the net with the chance, and he just missed hit it that split second. Alan Moore had a great chance as well, and I think Ollie Cattle had another good chance. So, you know, I think after the game you look and say, they're a good team, you know, you respect them, but we did create chances against them, and you know, we had a little bit of a chance going over there, and I think we fancied ourselves that we might have nicked the goal and gone over.
I nearly made the biggest mistake in my life that night, okay, and if you had known with this, you probably would have hit the head off me, right? I decided to wear Mollies in the warm because do you remember it was dry?
Yeah, it was dry. Kept was falling over as well.
Yeah, but then it started. We had a downfall. It started to rain in the warm up, and then while we were in the dressing room getting ready to go out, so we were going out, and it was raining. Like, it wasn't heavy, but it was raining, so the pitch was slick.
Yeah.
Now my only job that night was to just marshal Valeron. And I had Mollies on a wet pitch, and I remember going, oh my God, what am I going to do here? So I just said, please stop raining, please. And it did, and I remember getting in a half time and got my studs on, I went, thank God I got away with that.
So you didn't say, please, Jay won't score, please. Might have happened as well, rather than the rain stop.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's one of my pet hates was if a fella wore Mollies and he slipped, and you know, that was what I think was like. It was,
it was that detail.
You know, there was every small minor detail. We made sure that we looked after each other on the pitch as well. And, you know, if someone's having an off day, we were in, or we were trying to get them going or something. But to say the game, the atmosphere, everything was just something that I've never experienced and probably haven't experienced since in this country. So.
One of the greatest displays of Irish club football ever here at Lansdowne Road tonight. 0-0 against Deportivo La Coruna. Who would have thought it? Many people at Shelbourne written off, some of the fans still hanging around here. No score, but Shelbourne certainly could have taken it. They controlled the game from start to finish.
It was a proper Champions League game, in my opinion. From when we landed, you know, when we landed over there, we had the Sky Sports, or Sky News Ireland it was at the time, following us around. But you also got off the plane and you had a lot of camera crews from Spain, from the region, you know, coming over, interviewing us, tracking us all the way to our hotels, constantly looking for interviews a day, you know, leading up to it. So to me, it was a proper game, proper Champions League, where you felt, you know, you're in a game here. This is what it's all about. This is the big time, and you hear the Champions League music and everything playing. It's just a different atmosphere, a different level of football, I think.
Ollie Bowen turned around and he said, look, if your mum, dad or sister or nanny or anyone wanted to go, just let me know. And he put them on the plane and look after the hotel, and they can pay me next year, they pay me another time. And he was loving it, wasn't he? He was chartered flights left, right and centre for people.
I think he thought this is it. This is finally the break that I've worked for. Like, you know.
I think Wes's performance that night was something special for such a young kid on such a big stage to look just so natural. You know, kind of just didn't look. He wouldn't have looked out of place in the Deportivo team. You know, he had loads of quality. Himself and Alan Moore were the two players that night that we had could really change something, and they did some sort of wonderful things in the game, like, you know, and you really kind of stood back and kind of admired their quality.
Some went over and done mascot, and I remember, like, the one thing I don't do when I lead up to a big game is if any of my kids are doing any mascot to that, I just sort of blank them, you know. Now let your man look after you. And the whole week he was 4 years of age and he was there, and I didn't speak. You know, the usual phone call, how he his thing. But they were over in Spain. We seen them across the road. It was just a wave and just more focus on the game. And then come to it and they're walking out with him and saying, this is something that he'll have for the rest of his life, and I'll have for the rest of his life. I walked about him. He was the only mascot over there, standing in the photograph, and I got the photograph signed by everyone, and I got him to sign it as well at the time.
It's a great photograph.
Yeah, it's one of the pride and joys that I have, like, you know, from that era. Like, so, as I say, I think the killer was to concede the first goal. You know, when you get through the half time, it's 0-0, we're doing well.
We really believed that half, didn't we? Because I think we had a couple of half chances in the first half.
Jay had a header and Joseph Nadeau was as well, I think. But we thought we'd just keep it tight. We've always created chances, so we knew we'd have another chance. And it was unfortunately Wezzo was the one that gave the ball away. Yeah, he was trying to beat someone, got taken off, and then next thing you man, bang, back in the net. Some strikes as well.
But even don't forget, even though they had scored first, I think we'd spoken about that. It didn't matter, because in order for us to go through, we had to score anyway. So 1-1 would have done us. I remember there being a disappointment, but I don't remember us being sort of completely deflated. We said, look, hang on, we can still.
Yeah, we still knew it.
However, it's definitely deflated when Victor, when somebody steps up from 4, it felt like it was 60 yards. When you look back at the goal, it's probably 35, 40 yards.
That was a great strike.
Absolutely pinged in the top
corner.
corner.
I tell you, those balls move.
They were do you remember them balls? They were the ones that had they were the night balls, the spiral. The Premiership introduced them, yeah. We had to train with them. We couldn't get used to them because they had these sort of horizontal lines in them, and the ball looked like it was swearing towards you. You know?
Some strike.
What a strike!
Yeah, I think if you have two keepers in, they wouldn't have saved it.
It was just, that was the best goal I've ever seen in real life.
That's what I've seen against us.
I was either going to go and celebrate.